Hello and welcome to the God is a Geek podcast. My name's Adam Cook and it's episode 396, which means we're bearing down on number 400. Do we have plans for that episode? Some of them maybe. Christopher White, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. You?
I'm all right, mate. Just for the people who are listening, we are recording this via video again, meaning, you know, if you want to, you can, I mean, there's no point me reacting so much to the camera, because if you're listening, you can't see
start
it.
Going,
Yeah, I mean, I was going to start this with a visual gag, but I can't. We can't do that. Adam Carroll, how the devil are you, man?
I'm good. I'm just looking at Christopher White's avocado burger pillow, or whatever it is.
It's just a straight up burger.
It's a straight up burger with just
That's
lettuce
way
or
bigger.
guacamole or something.
Way bigger than I thought it was.
That is
I mean, you're missing out if you're just listening. But on, I thought this was like this tiny little, almost like a dog toy size thing. And like,
it's
got one of them for the dog.
It's very comfortable.
Gary Bailey has been sitting patiently, just waiting for the audio listeners. How are you, mate? All right?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
How's everyone?
Yeah, you know, doing a podcast, so great. I have a question for all of you before we get. This is the banter section we've discussed this. I have a question for you before we get into the podcast. Something I've always wondered, but now via the power, I'm really trying to sell this that people should watch this on YouTube.com/GodIsAGeek. Right? I want to know, what's your podcast drink? Because this works in audio and visual. And I'll start. And do you know what? I'll show you this, and I'll say that it's a brown liquid in a obviously not stolen Magners glass. You would think is just what, Pepsi Max or Diet Coke, maybe?
Dandelion and burdock.
It is, in fact, Diet Coke with a hint of strawberry that I just literally bought on the way home because it was 50p. And nice. I don't normally drink fizzy drinks during a podcast because it's an audio form and fizzy can create issues with audio.
Yes.
So if you sort of see my mic go very quiet and me sort of going over here a little bit. Adam Carroll.
Yes, but I just want to, before I go on, before I mention my drink, the hint of strawberry, is that included in that can, or did you add it yourself?
No, it was a bottle. I was going to bring the bottle and show you, but I don't want this to become too video based.
Okay.
But it's like a 1.5 litre bottle of Diet Coke. It's not very nice, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that kind of hint of stuff I don't like.
It's kind of, you know, this is again for the visual, you know, the taste test.
Any ice going?
It kind of tastes flat out of the bottle.
Yeah. But like, no ice or nothing.
Maybe
not
that's
during
why
a
it's
podcast.
50p.
Not a spoonful of sugar either? An extra spoon?
That sort of defeats the object of it being a diet drink.
Yeah.
What are you drinking, Adam? What are you drinking?
I am drinking coffee.
Oh,
always.
my word. That's a cafetiere. For those listening, he's got an actual cafetiere of proper coffee.
This is actually like... I actually have this in my life, at least.
Sorry, are you drinking out of that, or do you pour that into another?
Oh, yeah, it's straight out of the spout. That's what I'm going for, yeah. Love that.
It's just the way you were sort of holding it there. People who listen to Fork Off would not think that strange, let's be honest.
Yeah. I have started drinking straight black coffee a lot more since quarantine. No reason for that, really. It's not like because it's quarantine. It just so happens that I went black, and I've gotten so used to it now that I don't think I'll ever have milk again in my coffee.
Wow. Poor cows everywhere. Adam's not milking the milk. It's a question. The reason I tend to veer away from the fizz is obviously for the, for the audio aspects. Coffee can... That's it. Yeah, that's Adam, by the way. Pouring coffee, nothing else.
Some sounds,
just the ambiance to the video. I'm just... Coffee can do things to people, can't it?
Mess with your guts.
Chris has got it right. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think, like, sometimes it's a bit. Maybe look. I think it's over exaggerated in some ways. I feel that coffee. I don't really get. I can't. It's like I have coffee at night. I'll still sleep.
Sorry, you have coffee at night.
Well, yeah, I might have one of these fellas again at around 8 o'clock or something like. But
what, the whole what?
Yeah. That's the only way I have my coffee is in there. I don't make a cup, I make this.
How old are you, Adam? Do you mind saying on the podcast?
31.
Ah, yeah, you're all right. You're fine.
Yeah.
Like that's because the thing. Well, I suppose what I'm getting at in the long way, and we'll get to Chris, what you drink. But Chris, I have a question for you regarding Adam's beverage. Do you think anyone's ever shit themselves on a podcast live on video?
Not yet, but there's a chance.
Why? What are you drinking, mate? What have you got there? Is you got the two? Yeah.
Oh, hey!
Now Chris is holding up
1.5 litres of diluted squash.
Okay,
it's
so
diluted. I
Not
thought
the
for a minute.
not the full 1.5. There's about
No.
0.64.
because
see-
I was honestly about to say there, if we're talking about someone shitting on the podcast, if you were just drinking that straight,
Oh,
my
Oh God.
Oh,
see,
yeah.
again,
Yeah,
for those
that-
not watching, like you are literally missing out on an Asda bottle. It's amazing.
You're missing out on like Chris's lovely pose. I mean, he looks well comfy there.
He looks so relaxed.
I need to not fall asleep. I'll be honest. This is a very...
Yeah, just in the bottom corner there.
Last week I was perched on the end of my chair. My arse went numb. This week, no chance of that.
Fair enough.
I'm good.
Okay, Gaz. Last week I know what you were drinking. Have you repeated it?
No, I'm on Vimto.
Now Vimto's a classic.
that's
Yeah.
Vimto's a classic. Vimto.
What's that?
Oh,
Never
my.
had Vimto.
Oh.
What's Vinto?
Mate, it's a delightful drink. You can buy it in fizzy bottles.
Yeah.
You can buy it
All
still.
right. Where's the internet? I'm on it.
Where's the internet? Yeah.
Vinto.
Oh man,
No, Vim.
Oh,
Vimto.
Vinto.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, Vim. No, I still don't know it.
No.
Vimto.
He's-
Oh,
he's
I really
Googling.
still don't really know that.
It's a fruity blackcurrant based drink, isn't it? No, it's great.
Well,
it's great.
There's cherry as well.
Oh, it's all
Yeah,
sorts,
cherries.
mate. All
And
sorts.
there's fizzy and there's still.
Yeah, I go for the still.
You go for the still.
It's kind of the redheaded stepchild version of Ribena to me in my eyes.
Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, 1908 it was introduced. Wow.
You'll never see Adam's amazed reaction unless. But Adam, I suppose we should get onto games because obviously, you know, now you're an Xbox
I'm
fanboy,
a
right?
pro Xbox
You know,
player, actually.
You just play Xbox, hate PlayStation,
Hate it.
Nintendo,
Yeah, Xbox all the way.
just Xbox, as you've always been, as we all know, correct?
Oh, always. Yeah, so I've been playing Xbox One. I've gotten there. Right in time. Perfect.
To be honest, it's not a bad time.
It's
Because
because time, really.
It really is because you can play
Yeah.
the next gen games on that console.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've said for the first 2 years, like Halo Infinite will be on Xbox. So it's not going to look as good, but
Yeah,
it'll
yeah,
still
yeah.
look pretty good.
Well, anywho, I had to immediately jump straight into Gears of War 4. Okay, so Gears of War 4 is a game, well, it's a franchise that I really love, and obviously couldn't play it for until this week. So it's been a long time coming. I'm going to keep it brief on 4 because if I'm brutally honest, I don't really have much to say that I really loved about it. It's like, on reflection, I'm kind of going, okay, it's set 25 years after 3, and we're now JD, basically Marcus Phoenix's son, who straight off the bat, I was kind of like, okay, I was kind of up for Marcus, like, there and then, you know, when I started, I was like, oh, it's a Marcus knowing the lads. And so I was getting a bit used to these new characters. It's an introduction of Kate, who obviously comes into 5, because I'd like to clarify as well that I've also finished Gears of War 5. Well,
You
Gears
finished 5.
I finished 5.
Now,
Did it
people
take you
watching
to do
this...
these two?
Well, this is the thing, guys. People won't... They won't know why I'm quite as shocked as I am. Because I had a text message off you last night. Well,
Yeah.
this morning when I woke up that... Have you slept?
Well, no. Well, I had this coffee
That's
fella going
why
on.
he's on the coffee. He's
No,
just
I,
mainlining coffee.
Can I read the text, do you think? Hang on.
Yeah, of course you can.
Yeah, I think... Hang on just a
Oh,
sec.
excuse the language, though.
But this is a text message I woke up to because I was long asleep. This is 10:28 p.m. last night. It's a bit of a spoiler, so I'll just say the spoiler boss fight is an absolute pile of cunt. And that was it. That was I haven't spoken to Adam up until right this moment.
Yeah.
So this is essentially 14 hours after that text was sent
Yeah, so...
at
well,
half
anyway,
10 last night.
Five is done, and like I'll be honest, right? When as I was playing 4, 5 was just in my head, and I hated it. I hated that because it was like I have 4 now. I'm currently going through this. I should be
A game I
experiencing-
haven't played.
I haven't played this, but I think the 5 thing started coming into play because I know how much you guys love it and stuff, and like I've heard just amazing things about 5. 4 midway through started to get very repetitive for me. I thought.
It's too many robots. There's too many robots.
There's too many robots. There's too many of the same kind of set pieces. Like it's very predictable. You walk in and you all of a sudden know there's fucking things are going to drop down
roll
and
down
roll
a bit.
around. And here we go, another gunfight again. And I was kind of like worried, if I'm brutally honest, because I was sitting there going, "Wow!" So like I haven't played Gears in a long time, and as I was playing 4, I was kind of going, "Is Gears kind of done? Am I kind of falling out of love with the Gears franchise?"
You probably just got back and you were like, shit.
Yeah, but there was like it was doing all the kind of bits that I loved still. Like the shooting was still top drawer and all that. Like the violence was there, but it was still kind of like I think straight off with the new cast that they were bringing in, that was throwing me off straight away because I had such love for like the previous gang, and it was kind of like I'm all for a new group, but the problem is with 4 is they don't really give you much to give a shit about with the characters. And
is that partially because, with all due respect to JD, he's not his dad?
No, he's not. He's not his dad, but I personally do see a lot of like there's definitely potential in this character, right? Which I'll get to in a while. But so 4 was cool, and like it didn't overstay its welcome. It really wasn't that long of a game either. It was, I think, like it was maybe 10 hours, 9-10 hours.
Tops, I'd say. Yeah, it's an average Gears game length, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think like the very last section, the last act or whatever, act 5, chapter 5, whatever, chapter 4 is banging. It is like. Yeah. It is super good. Like, I won't obviously spoil anything because there could be people in the exact same situation that I was in. The end of it is really cool. It gives you that feeling of this is kind of like where I expect Gears to be going forward. This kind of like quality, do you know? So then 4 was over and I was kind of going, okay, that was all right. That was all right. And I was worried. So got Gears 5 installed. Here it is. And I know then, like, there's, when we did Game of the Year last year, how you guys were, like, on about, like, the moments and stuff like that. Gears 5 started, and what instantly jumped out at me was the visuals anyway, straight off. I wouldn't say they just went, but they just popped.
I think they do. Like, that opening... what do you call it? Like with the spelunking down.
It's quality,
rappelling down. Like the visual. I think it's a more colourful game. Like full stop. Like it's not just better looking. It's more colour to it. There's a bigger,
that was always palette. Kind of the thing with Gears games. They were very brown. You know,
they were, and I never quite got that because they were still gorgeous. And
they were gorgeous games. The palette was very. It's very earthy, I suppose. And then you get to this one, and I think it helps that you've got like the different sort of biomes. I suppose.
Yeah, of course.
They all look amazing. I mean, I still need to finish it myself, actually, because I fell off it a bit quite at the end.
Oh, really? Jesus.
I mean,
when you say at the end, what act are we? Because there's 4 acts, isn't there? Not 5, like normal.
I think I might have been at the beginning of 4.
Oh, wow, that's a very odd place to stop. Because for me, I think I was in a position where I was like, I was reviewing it, and we got code very, very late, and I was determined I'm finishing this damn game, and I was enjoying it anyway, but I was like, I'm gonna have a half an hour break, but then that starts Act 4, and I'm like, this isn't the time to stop playing. Like it's like that is like Warzone shit, isn't it?
Yeah. I think then so the visuals were popping out, and I was like, cool. And then you see, it did something that I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna love this as much as people are saying. It started off with a tutorial. And it was a kind of like a training sequence, and I was kind of going, oh, okay, I'm not like dishing it because of the fact I just came out of 4, and I like, oh no, to play this now, you know. But it was just like, okay, tutorial, all right, fine, okay, and I was a bit like, okay, am I after just burning myself out of Gears straight away again? What's the story? And then the dialogue starts happening, and then the characters start happening and opening up. And then the action starts happening. And then there's just so much starts happening. And I gotta say, right, Gears 5, probably... Now, Gears 2 is is probably my favourite Gears game, maybe.
For me, it's Gears 5. I'll say that right
Could
now.
be Gears 5. As I said, I'm only a couple of hours after finishing it.
Yeah,
it
fair.
could easily be Gears 5. Gears 2 is held up so much because I think the story is amazing, all that jazz. And it's just at that stage you're like immediately like Marcus Phoenix is the one and all the gang and stuff. With 5, it is definitely the best made Gears game.
Oh, God, yeah.
By a long shot.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
the movement alone, like sprinting, even from 4 to 5, the sprinting is way more fluid. Like, the turning of it and stuff. Because it always has that heavy feel, you know, and it's kind of like a bit awkward when you get around the corner. There is... The dialogue is probably the best in any Gear series.
Yeah.
I think it's insanely funny at times. There was... I think you brought it up the last time, if I'm right, Ed, something to do with Marcus telling a character to shut the fuck up.
Foz.
Yeah.
Very funny.
One of my favourite moments in games. It's actually funny. Like, not like, oh, game funny. Actually funny.
Yeah, it's really hard to, like, you say that kind of bit that happens, and it's hard to sell. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to make it sound funny. It is very funny the way it's delivered. There's a very similar line as well where, and this is where JD starts growing, and in this... He says a line where, we wipe that swarm's arseholes or something like that. Something like that. And it's really, and he's like, I didn't mean it like that, you know. And it's just like this funny banter that goes on.
Oh, I think I know the bit. Yeah.
Oh, the cast. And then Kate, who I was unsure of in 4, was outstanding in 5. Like, her character completely just like succeeds in all the areas that I wanted it to be. Like, all that, the open world, then that comes into, well, if you want to call it open world, I think it kind of is, in a way.
Yeah, it's
kind of like, it reminded me of the Tomb Raider games, the newer ones, where you had, like, the open areas.
Yeah.
Sort of mooch around in there and find a few little side quests and things like that.
Yeah. Like, that vehicle is just super satisfying to drive around in. Going through all the side missions and getting all the documents and stuff is all brilliant. 5 just has a better pace than 4. Like, 4 is kind of like... 4 just felt like... Do you know when you get, like, a kind of an average takeaway, like fish and chips or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Do you know when you get that kind of...
Fish and chips, yeah.
He's agreed to that there, Adam Cook.
You can't break the fourth wall. Like, it's a Patreon-only podcast.
Yeah.
Gary doesn't know what we're talking about.
No.
Yeah. 5 just excels in everything. And it kind of feels like with these many games in the series, you'd be wondering, like, do they still have it, you know? And it does kind of shape up to say there's another one on the way in some way. And when 5 ended, I was like, yeah, I am totally up for another Gears. Go on.
Sorry. No, I was just going to ask if you've... I don't want to repeat myself because I'm sure I've said this on the pod, and I said it to you literally the other day. Do you see what I mean now? I really feel like Gears of... And Gary, I know you all feel this similar, but they did this with Halo as well. With Halo and Gears, there's these real parallels of, like, there's this studio like Bungie, and then it was Epic Games, and it was like, these are loved studios, and they left their game behind, or their game left them behind, whichever way you want to look at it. And I feel like the first Halo after Bungie, just like the first Gears after Epic, was the studio involved, the Coalition, 343, saying, look, we can do a game in this series, and it was good. And then the next one, the Gears 5, was like, and this is how we do things, and brilliant. You know what I mean? Like, it really felt like they had to first of all justify, no, it's okay, look, we can make a Gears game, no, we can make Halo, like, you know. And then after that, it was like, wow, you know.
Yeah, I think with 5 as well, in, like, down the line, if I reflect on Gears again, like, I have so many memories from, like, 2 obviously, but I think 5 will carry the most moments that I remember from the franchise, like, so far.
Without spoiling, the boss at the end of Act 3.
Yes.
The scenes at the end of Act 3, the kind of oil thing that you climb. Mm-hmm. Excuse me, that's that Pepsi.
There's so I'm just gonna quickly say that, like, Act 3, start to finish, is probably, like, the best thing I've ever played in Gears ever. Like, I think the whole pacing, the getting the rocket and stuff together, all that jazz. And there.
Can I just ask a question? Sorry, Adam, I don't mean to cut across you. When you go to the factory and the shutter lifts. Now, I remember, because I was playing it on an Xbox One X on a 4K HDR telly, I remember going, until that moment, I had very much been in the camp of Sony's exclusives look the best. The Uncharted, The Last of Us, they just look the best. That moment, I was like, this might be the best looking game I've ever played. I wonder how that translates. I don't know what telly you're playing on. You know what I mean?
Oh, like the game, like the lighting, everything is just out of this world good.
Like that moment is why I tell people, in my opinion, HDR is more important than 4K.
Yeah, there's 3 other things I want to mention very quickly. Is one, in Act 3, and this is to go with the visuals and stuff like that again. Right, in Act 3, there's a certain situation with a storm that happens, right? And I honestly thought like the way that was done was so good, not only in the visual department, but I actually thought the controls, because it takes you, like the storm starts basically just pulling you into it itself, basically, and you're trying to guide it out. And I think the panic of using the controller to get out of it, it's actually quite challenging. Like I actually died like twice doing it.
Yeah, several times.
It's such an amazing moment, I think that. I think I had to look back. Actually, no, I'll say this part first. When people were talking about last year about that droid from The Last Jedi, what's his name?
Oh, wow.
Or not, is it or is Jedi Fallen Order? Jedi
I know
Fallen
what you mean. What's the name of the droid?
What's the name of the
back?
droid?
DB8.
DB8?
DB8.
BD8?
DB8.
One of those.
BD1.
BD1.
Oh, close.
BB8.
BB8's the film one, the little orangey white one. This is the little...
So everyone was like, oh, he's the best, right? And I'm like, that's fine and all. Jack is a million times better.
He's always been great.
Jack is unreal. He is unreal in 5. He actually, there's one moment in particular where he does something and the gang look back at him and he kind of like puts down his little shutter as if to say, like, don't look at me, I didn't mean that. And it's really, really funny, the whole thing. And then I had to, after this moment, I had to then pick up my phone, go back over the Game of the Year document from last year and go, where was this? Do we have this in? And I was so happy.
Oh, I was not letting that go.
What our best moment that we picked for last year was the decision.
The decision, yeah.
Which I still disagree with, but fine.
I don't know what he did in that situation, but what I did
did both, but
what I ended up doing anyway for my playthrough was seriously heartbreaking stuff. Like I actually got a bit like, oh god, and it really moved me in such a way. But the decision there and then, I actually couldn't pick the other one for a certain reason. It was just amazing how it played in my mind and the way it worked out. But what were you? Can you briefly tell me what one you were going for? Because we don't have the list anymore.
Well, in terms of the moment.
Yeah.
I genuinely see. The thing is, right? I am a massive comedy fan. Okay, and one thing I'm not one of these like, oh, gaming writing is all shit. I don't think so. I think actually some games are really well written and they're clever. You might not like the story, but they're well written, some of them. What I do think games struggle with, certainly as broader appeal, is being funny. Like right, I think a lot of games are funny in the way that you type LOL on a phone and you're sat there like this.
Yeah.
You're not actually laughing. So when games actually make me properly laugh, it's like, it's not impossible. And so the moment we talked about earlier when Marcus tells Fuzz to go fuck himself was, it's in this really serious moment where they are at war and the shit is going down. And Fuzz is clearly afraid of and in awe of Marcus. And he's just like, he's so unimportant to Marcus. What was your name again? Fuzz. Shut the fuck up, Fuzz. It's like, to me, that was the best moment in a game last year because it was so funny that like I say, that's what I say when I mean actually funny, not game funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was my moment of the year.
I think that's an amazing moment, but like I do think that decision part, like, because, and this you'll know exactly what I ended up choosing when I say that the writing in this game is so strong that what I picked was so devastating that particular character Fuzz was affected as well. And we like when you play 5, this character Foz, like from the word go, seems like a dickhead, and then he starts acting like a dickhead, and then you start loving him, and then he's very funny, and then they build all their relationship, and it's great.
Yeah.
And I thought my decision was just like, it didn't just affect one character, it affected so many, and it was just like, oh my god. But then I couldn't do it the other way because...
But you know what, man? Like, there is going to be a Gears 6. And you can... Because I literally, as soon as I did that, I was like, okay, I need to know. So I went and played that chapter again. I threw it on easy just to see it, to see the way the story played out. When they make... Well, they are making Gears 6. When Gears 6 is released, they can only pick one, I think. I don't think this is going to be a Mass Effect thing where, like, the characters you had... You know, I think there is a canonical choice there that it's not a huge spoiler to say that a character dies, and you basically choose one of two who can die, and therefore I mean it's not exactly cost effective to develop a game for one story beat, because presumably that will have ramifications for the whole game because it's character changing.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to see which one of those they are saying. That's because that's an interesting thing about player choice is that if you're going to make a sequelized series, one of those is canon and one of them isn't. And how will they do that? Because if you didn't say you picked the guy they didn't pick, that they feel that this is the story, you're going to start the game like, oh, well, this isn't my story because you know that's Walking Dead stuff, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how they handle it. I also have to say that I thought the abilities with Jack that you use, they're not like essential. I didn't feel like I was using them all the time throughout the game, and it doesn't really. It's not a game about stealth. It's just not a stealth game. And they give you these options to do stealth, like sneaking up. And there's one section in particular where you can do it, but like it's just not as fun as unleashing the Lancer and stuff like that. But it was still a nice little touch to throw in there, and it was funny. Jack was actually brilliant to use. Like I always kept using that shock trap, and I thought I just really enjoyed that.
Yep.
And the last thing I'll say is the Hammer of Dawn is still one of the best weapons ever in a video game. It is just so banging. It is so
I think
cool.
Gears has some of the best weapons, like Nasher, Lancer, Hammer of Dawn. I'm not being funny. Talkbow and Boomshot, I am a huge fan of those two.
Didn't use them at all in
the
5.
Talkbow, once I got it.
There's a pistol.
Once I get Talkbow.
There's this particular pistol that was like ridiculous. Like you get a
Bolt-Top
headshot.
One? Is it the Bolt-Top pistol? It looks like a bigger,
that's the one.
like a revolver.
That's the one.
Yeah,
that's
love that.
A serious weapon.
That's a one-shotter.
Gears
Heavy
5,
feel that one.
Yeah, Gears 5 is outstanding, like absolutely outstanding.
I think there is potential, like as well. What you said about the stealth, I found the stealth was slightly weaker because it's not so like playing Red Dead, for example, which is on our list and we'll get to. Red Dead with the stealth, you can stealth around a camp and almost break the AI, because if they haven't got line of sight and you're quiet enough, you can just stealth kill over and over and over. Whereas with Gears, the second one's down, they will like go hello, and you're in a. It didn't sort of quite work, but yeah, no. Gears 5 is one I've been meaning to play through again, co-op, and we've been talking about doing Horde on it for ages, so we should, you know.
Yeah, it's just incredible. I'm delighted to finally have gotten through all of them now.
I'm happy for you. Genuinely pleased, because I know you're a big Gears fan, so it's like. Have you played anything else apart from, like, you're on the Xbox now, so you only play Xbox?
Oh, like we actually have it down on our list there, but I've gotten through Streets of Rage 4. Another one that I was definitely like not another
you
one,
weren't that.
I wasn't too keen. I was like, yeah, it's fine if I get it, I'll play it, and luckily, getting the Xbox is on Game Pass, which is just fucking brilliant, by the way.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just
how much
fantastic.
are you using, like the pound?
So I got it like there was a free like month trial in it, and then the next month is like £1.
And you've played Gears, Streets.
I played Gears 4,
Gears
5,
5,
and Streets,
and are on. You're going to be on some more. Yeah, it's
yeah. So like Streets Rage 4, look, we've like Chris, you've spoken about it plenty. So have you, Ed?
Yeah, but man, like, I'm sorry, I'm ready to talk about Streets again for an hour here right now.
Streets Rage 4, right, is just the ticket. It's just the ticket. It's just banging. That's all. Like the story, whatever. We're not here for that. It's like
it's there.
I do quite like it though, because it does like reintroduce characters and stuff that you haven't seen for however many years. It kind of does at least go, this is a story set in the same world. You know, you're not...
The only problem is, Chris mentioned it in his review, and I still hadn't finished it this time last week, right? And now I have. I get what he means. Like, he mentions it, his story, because I'm with you guys. It's actually it's fine. Like, it's quite good. But then it ends. Credits.
Yeah, it does.
Like, I was like, do I have to play this on hard to see the ending cutscene? Because there isn't one.
Yeah.
And the game's
Are they expecting some, like, post credits,
something?
Yeah.
Just something.
It just doesn't do anything. But yeah,
maybe you do have to complete it on like Mania. I mean, this is the thing, right? I'm sure we had a question that was similar or answering, like, you know, talking about retro stuff, and I said I don't really replay games. I don't really rewatch stuff anymore. Don't have time. Whereas I am planning a hard run. I'm literally two-timing Adam and Chris because and Mick. I've spoken to 3 people about we must do this on hard. It's a little thing I haven't mentioned, and I don't think anyone I've seen on the pod mention. You know how when you die and you fall onto the screen and all the enemies go woo?
Yeah.
I love that they've kept that because that's so stupid, so pointless, and if you're playing well, you'll never see it. But I love that they have kept that in there.
Yeah.
That it's so. But like, man.
Well, like, when we were playing it the other day, you brought to my attention the hidden bosses.
Right.
No concept of that. So from a whole playthrough, no idea.
And in fairness, mate, how would you? Like, they are.
Yeah.
So, have any of you seen the hidden retro levels at all?
I know of them. I know how to get them. But
this is what's going to blow.
No, okay.
Like, that's what's blowing my mind because, like, since I've played it and finished it, I've gone back and played over certain levels, but I can't believe the amount of content that's actually just hidden away.
So have you seen the retro levels? Because
I know that they exist, but where the hell do you get them?
So you know, in there's certain areas where there are like arcade machines you can smash and there's money in them. So every one of those has a hidden retro level, which is just like a one-screen boss encounter with the Streets of Rage original bosses. And all you do is, you know, the taser weapons the cops drop. If you find one of them, tase it instead of hitting it, and you instantly walk. And basically, and you'll walk to one of those levels. And like again, because I started it on PS4 when it was pre-release, and then I moved to Switch for the Switch report, and then I moved to Xbox One to play with Chris. But it was only with Xbox One that I was really delving into this shit, and like actually, because I kept playing across different platforms, I wasn't really getting all the unlocks. When I unlocked Axel, I hadn't actually used him, so it was only on Xbox One with Chris. When I unlocked him, I was like, do you know, we died, didn't we, Chris? I'm like halfway through the game. I was like, I'm going to change to him to see what it is. So he's actually different. He's different.
Yeah.
He has a different skill set. Like, Axel is Axel, but his Streets of Rage 1, so his hitboxes seem bigger, but he also seems way more powerful. Like, I was wailing on bosses. Like, but also, he doesn't have the grand upper, because he didn't in Streets of Rage 1. His special is that thing where the police car comes along and they fire rockets, which is, again, a hugely different use case. But all these characters feel different. And then, like, you unlock Streets of Rage 2 Max, and he feels totally different. And I couldn't help myself, and I went and had a look and saw all the other unlocks. It's like, I'm going to keep playing this damn game. I might try and get 1,000 gamer score on this game, because...
Yeah. Do you know what I was wondering? Do you know, I can't remember if this was in the original games, but do you know when you throw like a knife or something it bounces back? That feels amazing.
That's new.
Feels amazing.
Yeah.
I don't have many regrets when it comes to God is a Geek coverage, okay? The only one I can think of in recent memories is when Chris was reviewing this, we played a little bit of co-op. And in this, there was a moment where I was capturing where he threw someone and I then flying kicked them. Because what we've learned from... we played through the whole game in co-op the other day, didn't we?
Yeah.
Is that if... with each enemy, there's only so much you can hit them before they became... Basically, it kind of resets. Like, they can't... but someone else can. So when you've done all your hits, if you can then finish that in a way that kind of pushes them towards your friend, they can then start juggling them again. And we worked out that I think when they finish, that lets you then go back in again. So you can absolutely destroy people.
Yeah.
So we had a bit of that in this video, but the coolest thing, what I really regret, is that Chris hit someone with an enemy, and it was very early in the game. I don't think either of us knew you could actually catch weapons. And it went over his head, and I caught it and then threw it as well. And then the software I was using crashed, and we lost that whole video. But it was just, like, so cool. And I
thought that was cool. Like, when I first, I didn't know you could do it.
No.
I didn't complete by accident. I just I threw it and then saw it coming back and just like, I'll just hit B again, or whatever button it was, I forget. And it's like, holy shit, you actually can't catch it. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it feels amazing. I tell you what, you mentioned mania mode there, Ed. Like, how is someone supposed to beat the last boss on their own on mania mode? Like that, because some of the bosses are a bit like tough, and I think a lot of people have said that. But the last boss in particular, I was so angry because I kept dying quite a bit during it, and like I don't know how somebody's supposed to beat that on mania mode. But probably is somebody who's going to be able to do it.
I think the key to most of the bosses is that you need to not lose a life or much health.
Yeah,
getting to the boss, and then you can, you have to make use of your specials. You have to. It's not an easy game, honestly. But then I do feel like it's definitely designed to be played co-op. And I feel like they have been for a while, because Chris and I played through on normal, and we used one continue. Can't remember what boss it was, but it was Shiva, wasn't it? It was.
Yes.
We got there with no health and no lives. We just messed up because that's quite a long lead up to that level.
Very much so, yeah.
But it contains that feeling though, doesn't it? Like games like let me think here now, like Dead Cells and like Market Ninja and Hotline Miami. These kind of like you do it and you kind of like you got away with it and you're like, all right, cool. But then like you replay the game again. Like just this morning after finishing Gears 5, I jumped back into Streets and I was like, all right, I'll just do the first level again. And I was just like cleaning up, like Combo City, like. Do you know we
went straight into hard mode, didn't we, Chris? After just to try it, and I mean, I don't know, but how did you feel about hard mode level 1?
I felt it a lot easier. Just because we transitioned, like from going through the whole game, we got so used to it that you go back into hard straight away.
Yeah,
like, piece of piss.
Yeah, and that to me is like, in my opinion, a moment of the year is the feeling of getting those combos and like not one enemy is touching you, you're standing there just going, yeah. It's unreal.
I changed character. I will say, right, it's given me one of those. It's one of those personal moments that it's not going to win our moment of the year because it's very exclusive to me. But I was showing my youngest son. So my eldest plays kind of the same stuff. He plays FIFA, Rocket League, Overwatch. And he kind of doesn't ever really. He does now and again. But my youngest is a bit more like me. One of his favorite games is Mario Odyssey. He likes to play other games as well as his. Like me, I'll go back to FIFA, but I like to play everything else. And he had quite a lot played Castle Crashers with his friends because it's co-op brawler. And he was watching me play this. I said, you should play this, mate. It's on Game Pass. You've got that. And he's like, oh, and he just was looking at it. And then he saw me smash a bin. I think I was playing with Chris at the time. He saw me smash a bin and pick a chicken up. He goes, oh, that's weird. They've even got the chickens from Castle Crashers. And I just went, no. Hang on just a second.
Go to bed.
But no, I'm not like that. It was an educational moment because I was like, no, you see, that's where they got this from. This is 25 years old, this series. That's how impactful it was on people. I don't talk to them like I'm doing a podcast like I am right now. But, I was sort of saying to him, this is what I'm saying, man.
There's an excellent, like, it's not a spoiler. I don't know, you might have done this completely differently. I don't know what way people played this exact part. It's a certain level. I think it's like you're in the castle or something. I don't know, some sort of castle thing. But like there's like samurai swords and shit in this particular level.
Yeah.
And there's one where you get a long
thing,
and you're like side by side. You're just like going mental on it, and it's just so much fun. Yeah, Streets of Rage 4 is fantastic. Fantastic.
I'm telling you now, it's up there on my list, and that's no spoiler because there's plenty more to come this year.
Yeah.
But people who think that it's not a good enough or big enough game to warrant it, I think you're going to be cross in December.
Why would that be? Like, I don't understand that though.
Hey, I can't speak for the internet, Adam.
Yeah,
I'm just, you know what they're like on the internet.
Yeah.
Have you played anything else? I mean, that's quite a lot. To be fair,
that's I've definitely played more, like I'm playing Assassin's Creed Origins and stuff, but like geez, don't really talk about that. I'm playing other things as well. I have a lot of stuff downloaded on Game Pass right now.
What's next? What's next? Give at least listeners and viewers like what's he going to get to go next? Because there's a lot. We were talking about this on text, and there's games people will have forgotten about.
Do you know what I had a real hankering for? And I was like, oh, I wonder if they have one of these in there, and they didn't, sadly. But I was mad to play a Splinter Cell game. I don't know why.
I think they did at one point have Splinter Cell Blacklist. Yeah,
I
think
played that one. I was just up for one of them.
But that's why I just suddenly went. What's left of it?
I went through the list, and right now, I think I really want to play Sunset Overdrive. I don't know what people feel about it, but there's something about that game ever since it was released that I'm just like, I think I really might like that game. I know there's like Ori and stuff there,
but do you think
I even downloaded that fucking Goose game, whatever it is, because I've heard people.
I forgot that was on there.
Yeah, so be a goose for an hour or two, see what happens there.
That's what it's called. Be a goose for an hour or two.
Be a goose for an hour or two. And then, like, you know, it sounds desperate because I know there's going to be people who'll just be like, "Ooh, I don't know what that." But this is the joy that I'm in right now. But there's like Quantum Break, all right, and I know people say they're peace about it, but like, hey. This is what I have this console for. I need to play these ones and like.
People Decay 2 as well.
What is it?
State of Decay 2.
Yeah, would I like that? Is that is there an end to
No.
that game?
No, but
you might not love it, but it's only on Xbox, isn't it? So you might find some joy in it, being the genre that it is.
But then there's that fucking Sea of Thieves game. I say it like I don't know what it is like, but Sea of Thieves.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. You know,
I've just re-downloaded that.
Does State of Decay have an end to it, or is it just like constantly?
I don't know, mate. I got sick of it, so I stopped playing.
I'm really selling it to me.
But you should play it. You should play it though.
You should try it.
Had like an end. It had like an end to the story, but
I quite enjoyed the first one. I quite enjoyed the first one.
I went back to that game recently.
Good.
It's shit.
But no, it's not amazing. It doesn't look amazing, but it's quite fun to play for a bit.
It's the zombie survival game that I want to play. Like, I really enjoy it, and it kind of gets rid of a lot of the shit that I don't like in most of those games. But it kind of replaces with that Sims element.
The Sim stuff is...
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the sort of thing that if they toned that down...
Okay, like, lads, you're not selling me here on this, like...
Download Forza Horizon 4.
Yeah,
I'm a bit surprised that Gary,
but,
you're not sort of saying get Forza, because like I think.
Oh, I have it.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah, I have it. Like that's.
I didn't really realize Adam was any kind of racing fan. I mean, I suppose
don't think you need to be.
Absolutely not. But let's get that. Like the
he
most
serious. SnowRunner.
He did. Yeah, he did. It's a good.
That's not racing. That's just Death Stranding in cars, and it's great. But like. The thing about it is, I'm not a racing fan. The most racing game, like the game I play the most in racing is Mario Kart, which people go, that's not a racing game. But either it's Forza Racing 4, in a way, like, you know, if you drive like that, it's crazy. But that's a fun game. I wouldn't play any, like, motorsport stuff, like the serious, stuff.
What else is there? I mean, Quantum Break.
There's Halo.
I was just going to say Halo.
There's Halo, okay? There's, like, 700 of them.
There's a lot. Yeah.
Like, should I?
Yeah.
Do I?
Wait, what do you mean?
I've played 1 and 2.
And that's it?
And I think 3. 3 was on the 360, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I think I've played 3. I just don't know how I feel about the games. It's not that they're bad. I just don't really know if I care, like, all that much for...
Play State of Decay 2, then.
Mr. Master Chief and stuff.
Right, I'll tell you what. If you don't care too much about the Master Chief, try Halo Reach.
Yeah, or ODST.
Yeah.
ODST.
Halo Reach is it's got nothing to do with the character of Master Chief. But it
John
follows a group of Spartans, and like their storyline's incredible. Especially like at the very end, it takes you in a way that games very rarely do.
Right.
It's quite shocking, and that's a really good game. So
I would genuinely recommend ODST as well. ODST
and
is an excellent
where are we
game.
now with Halo? We're at 5, is it? Halo 5? Or is there Halo 6?
Yeah.
Halo 5 is the last release.
Halo 5. Like, is that good?
I think it's good, yeah. It repeats a boss fight, which isn't very good, but apart from that, the rest of the game, it pissed people off because they added, like, hold left trigger to aim down sights, whereas Halo was always the game that you don't have sight. Well,
I think my problem was more...
Just don't do it.
Locke was just a shit character which nobody cared about.
There is an issue with that, too.
It was like, hey, remember that time when we made a Halo and you weren't the Master Chief for half of it? Let's do that again. Everyone loved that, right?
But well, they did, actually, but yeah.
I don't know, like, I just feel like...
That's because you were the Arbiter, wasn't it? I mean...
Yeah.
I'm not going to, I don't know, obviously, much about that series at all, but, like, the thing about it is, like, I just don't hear, like... Okay, when Halo gets announced, people lose their minds. But then...
Do they?
But this is the thing.
I do, because I still love Halo.
Yeah,
even
like I
though
just don't feel like I hear
there's
people go
issues.
Halo 3
Not
or
like they
Halo
used to.
4, Halo. Do you know? It's not like
it's
No.
it used to be like the big thing. I mean, I remember when Halo 3 came out and people were going mad.
Well,
Yes.
Halo was the game that's like Microsoft cannot launch a system without a new Halo game. And in fairness, that's exactly what they're doing. I do think Infinite's got a lot of work to do, and I would be really surprised if that game wasn't you playing as Chief for the whole game. And it is worth also saying, we are in May. That game is presumably out in 6 months longest, and nobody has seen it at all. We presume it is. They've dropped the number, which is the correct move. There's a point where games like I think Forza Horizon's getting there. Like I don't think we need Horizon 5. It needs to be Forza Horizon : and with Halo, like we're presuming this is it's Halo 6, and there's a story here. It does make me wonder what route they're going to go with this game.
I think it's just like when the first Halo came out, Combat Evolved and stuff. Like we all know the impact that game had. Like
and it was Combat Evolved.
It was just humongous. And then 2 came out and people were so up for it. But I correct me if I'm wrong, but I just feel like people look at 2 as if like, it's just more Halo.
No, Halo 2 is massively popular.
Yeah, that was the one that kind of sold Xbox Live.
They kept the online servers for Xbox going because people were still playing Halo 2 when the 360 came out. They could not shut down their Xbox servers for Halo 2, even though their 360 was out, because it was that popular. Halo 2 is...
Yeah. I mean, I'd agree that I don't think anyone really looks back at Halo 2 and goes, "Oh, that story is amazing," or anything. It was good, but it wasn't amazing. But most people look back on it because they're just like, I love that online, or just in the multiplayer, just in general, they loved it. And
I hated those bloody enemies, those little like goblin-y small troll things that were just jumping around with this. They looked like somebody from MDK or something like that. It was just wasn't a fan. I don't know, like
how did we get onto Halo?
What I'm going to play on Game Pass, like it feels really. I feel like I'm getting a bad taste in my mouth if I don't attempt this franchise having an Xbox and being able to play them for free. Do you know what I mean?
You can play them all in co-op.
It's like somebody
now.
having
That's
a PlayStation not touching Uncharted or something.
Yeah.
But like, what are you doing?
With the Master Chief Collection, you can play them all now and just have someone drop in and out and join you, and it can be almost like a podcast game. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, Chris and Gary, we haven't talked about what games you've played yet, but I don't know if we want to talk about the Xbox show or not.
Yeah.
We do.
There's not an awful lot to say. But it was disappointing.
Well, I tell you what, we have a question in the listener correspondence that sort of links into this, so we'll save that for now. So Adam, Sunset Overdrive next.
That's what I'm going to go for next.
Okay. So the same time next week, same channel, same.
I've already finished it. It's done.
Oh.
Just finished it there.
But your bank.
I just looked down. Done.
Drunk another pint of coffee. Gary, I'm going to ask you as if I don't already know. What have you been playing, mate?
I know it's such a shock to hear. I've been playing F1 2020,
which is the new one for those listening, because some companies do like say FIFA this year will be FIFA 21, but I actually love the fact that Codemaster's like, no, it's 2020, it's this year.
Yeah, that's it. Because I think the way they did it, I forget the precise reason of it, but it was kind of to get the F1 series or season correct. You kind of have to know a bit more of that season. So then you release it. Well, they used to release it further into the season, whereas now it's kind of, now it's not even the season yet because everything. But that's kind of why they did it. So it's like this. It's this year's game, but it's this season's game. So there's no kind of, there's no ambiguity to it or anything. It's all based on this season. That's it. But this is really good. But
they're the only game in town if you want Formula One racing, licensed, authentic.
That's it, and F2 as well now.
And F2 as well, yeah. But that's how people accuse FIFA of getting stale because PES is the competition, but it's.
It's a strange one because as well as you can get similar experiences. Like
I suppose Project
Cars
can
get F1 cars in like the F1 cars or. Some of them are in Forza and Gran Turismo.
And Project Cars has got them, isn't it? Or is it not? I can't remember. It's been so long.
They're like Formula X, I think they're called. So it's it's similar, just not quite the same. But yeah, I mean, it is basically the only licensed game, and thankfully so far it's not stale. You know, they're still improving on it. The gameplay for this one it's very similar to the last one. There's no getting around that. It's the same kind of thing as FIFA or PES. You know, the gameplay, there are changes, but they're small. But when you see them as like the whole, they do start to make a bit more sense. Like the handling in this is more or less the same, but there are slight changes when you get like damage to like a front wing, or when your tires start to wear down, you feel it more. But the actual race AI feels much racier. It was that yeah, that's the stupidest way I could put it. But like in F119, I can play that. Like I've been playing it for ages now, obviously, and I can play that on like hard difficulty, and I can start at the back, more or less end up at the front by the end of it on like a 25% race length. Yeah. This one you can't do that because they will fight you. It's a lot more. Some people won't like it because it's a bit more like the real thing, where there's sometimes a bit of a procession, because in real F1, when you watch it, they're not constantly just like, you know, past each other all the time.
No.
It's like there'll be a fight, they'll get past, then that's kind of it, until maybe like a pit stop or something like that. This is the same, which, again, some people won't like it, but people who want like the authenticity, something more of a race, then like people like me will love it. And I really enjoyed what I played because of that.
I should point out for those who watch us on YouTube that like in the preview, Gary obviously talks a lot about races, and I know it's not live at this point. I know there will be comments saying like, why are we not seeing any races? Why are they all time trials? Because that's all we're allowed to show. We wanted to give you footage we captured, and that is what we can show currently. We will, I'm sure, do more when Gary eventually reviews it.
Hopefully my driving isn't like putting, you know, I suspect there might be a comment or something like, you didn't get that brake right, or something like that. You know?
Oh dear. Imagine.
Don't have to, mate. It'll happen. He's right.
Fucking hell.
No, I was really impressed with it. As long as it sort of continues on that path, I'm really looking forward to what they do, especially because there's that My Team mode that I'm looking forward to giving a try, where you make your own F1 team, which is like the first time they've done that. Right? So rather than just having your standard career, you've also got this. Yourself.
I was quite interested. I was intrigued by the fact. I mean, it won't appeal to me, but I was intrigued by the fact that you mentioned the accessibility. That sounds kind of cool. Like, you know, obviously,
I
Gary,
was really impressed.
Like, you know, it sounds like you can just hold a button and the game that races for you. Now, again, people are going to go, but like that's fine.
That's it.
That's a really cool thing.
They've done it where now you can literally change between, I think it's casual and standard, handling. And when you go to casual, it's for people like, it's for stuff like kids or for people that just don't play games but they love F1, you know, and they want to get into it, see what it's like. So it'll do stuff like it'll manage all your your electronics for you. So your ERS, your DRS, your fuel mix, stuff like that, which I imagine you guys are probably looking at me just, what? Well, I don't have to imagine it.
I know what fuel is. That's about it.
It's what you've just been pouring into your cup. That's what fuel is. Coffee.
But like it does all that for you, but it also helps you with your driving itself, like the handle. So if you're off the racing line, it will gently steer you back to it. It'll do the braking for you. So like if you come out of a corner and you just like ram on the throttle, if you do that without assist, you just kind of spin. Whereas this, it eases the throttle on for you. It turns the steering wheel slightly so it widens the angle, and you know, it basically it more or less drives it for you. But you still have to do the acceleration. You still have to do some of the turning yourself. But it's just nice to have it, because I think there are too many racing games where sims, I suppose, where it's kind of, you have to know what you're doing. There's no accessibility to it. And you can't take this casual thing online, which is fair enough, because well, you wouldn't be able to compete, but even then, you'd still have kind of an advantage in some ways. But it's just nice to see it.
Is there ramps in the game?
Oh, I'd love that actually. It'd be quite funny if there was like a separate mode. I mean, technically, you could ramp off another car if you really want, but it's not going to end well.
Have you so you can go and watch. I mean, let's say you can hear Gary's deeper thoughts on the video or read it. But you can see it in 60 frames. It does look good.
Make sure you comment about his braking.
Yeah. Have you played anything else, Gaz? I'll just vamp while you finish that drink that people can't see.
Yeah, sorry, that was the worst time.
My bad.
Not really, to be honest, because I mean,
F1's consumed you.
Yeah, it's kind of been. I have played a lot of it.
It's interesting because normally you wouldn't be able to play this much of it. You would have to go to an event to play it, and you would get however many hours you could play while you were there, and that would be your preview.
Well, that's it. Like, for example, when I went to the Grid one last year, it was like I got to. I mean, there was quite a few hours, but you are limited to the fact that I've got to get home. Like I had to get home from Leamington Spa from there, and that's a long journey and stuff.
If I'm honest, one thing I hope. I mean, well, there's a lot of things I hope come from the situation we're in, and Adam mentioned, the quarantine. One thing I'm hoping people realise is you don't need to spend a fortune on an event when you can trust a critic to just play it at home on a PC. That's fine. Or
that's it. I mean, you've got to have a decent PC to do it. But I mean, mine's not going to blow anyone away, but it's a good enough PC that I could play this with. Well, you'll see it. It looks really good. Yeah. And it'd be nice because I mean, obviously they're going to want to have events at times. Yeah. But it'd be nice for those who can't make it or that kind of thing. It'd be like, okay, you can still have this option of playing it and getting your own thoughts down. Hopefully more will do it, like you say.
Okay, Chris.
Yes.
Would you kindly tell us what game? Would you kindly tell us what games you've been playing this week?
So I've been.
I've waited 2 years to do that joke.
I've been spreading my wings online, playing online quite a bit with certain games. So I downloaded Red Dead Redemption 2 on Xbox, which is also on Game Pass.
Yeah,
it is now. Yeah,
and started from the beginning of the online section, and you forget how good it looks for starters. Just literally most of the time I've played it, I have been doing the missions, but I've just been walking around on my horse. Well, walking around.
Really? Wow.
On the horse. And on the horse.
Poor Barbara.
Poor Barbara. Yeah, my name of my horse. Bless her. But like, there's so much to it that obviously wasn't there when I started playing it when it came out, and it's just amazing. Like we had a little session very briefly on Sunday morning where we like a few of the patrons came on, and we just rode around for a bit, swatted about. We've had times when we've.
I love that term.
Twine about. And then yesterday in the day, I just kind of did a few side quests and stuff with other people, and it's just amazing. Like there's just so much that can transpire when you just riding around or standing on your horse, depending how you want to do it. Just instances in the world where there's a lot of dicks in the game. Like there's a lot of people that are playing that, like
horse ones,
like with GTA. Yeah, they're big old flappers they are. Yeah. But like there's a lot of people that are playing it that just go around shooting you like they would do with GTA. But there's also times where like people just wave to you as you're walking through like one of the main like little towns.
That's when you shoot them.
That's when I shoot them.
That will.
Okay. No, but it's like you don't have to play like that. You don't have to be that arsehole. It's quite fun to just live in this world.
But the problem is Rockstar encourage it. I think whereas other games, so Sea of Thieves, I watched my son play. I was talking to you and Mick Fraser and Chris Hyde actually about this. I watched my son play Sea of Thieves, and that's a game where again there can be a lot of griefing, and it's allowed. Like you can plunder someone's ship. The thing that puts me off Red Dead, it's encouraged. Like you can start a mission together, and it is encouraged for another team to disrupt your mission. Like we had a mission where we were escorting a cart, 2 carts. Chris and I were on one each, and we were supposed to shoot AI that came for us. but other people can invade your mission, and it is encouraged for them to kill you and destroy the car, and that happened, and that's mission over.
Yeah.
And
it's kind of getting used.
So close.
It's getting used to what missions allow that. Some missions, obviously, the story missions don't allow other people to come in, so that's fine.
That was a stranger mission.
A lot of the stranger missions, they do encourage it.
But then there's also the thing of you can only play some missions with 4 people and under, and some with allow the full 7. And
that was similar with GTA.
Yeah, it's a lot of the online, like the online battles, like the battle royales, or the kind of 4-on-4s or the 7-on-7s where you play as a team. But when it comes to like progressing the story and that kind of thing, then you can't. You basically just go around, ride around, and just do what you want. But there's little to do as a group of 7 or 8.
Well, this is the thing, and I feel like they've taken the wrong lessons from GTA Online, because GTA Online makes such a lot of money that this game feels really aimed at making you so they added a whole job system not that long ago where there's like you can be a collector, or you can be like a bounty hunter.
Yeah, the moonshiner as well. They added
moonshiner.
Recently.
And you have to pay one of the currencies, which is gold bars, and they're not to grind to get 15 gold bars to accept a job is serious. Like it is. They don't want you to grind for it. They want you to go to the store, buy 15 gold bars, and that's like 10 quid. And
I said the other day, didn't I? Was it on Discord? It sounds like a free-to-play game.
And you don't have to. You don't have to. But I feel like it's still the same amazing online, the same Red Dead world, which is incredible to exist in. Slightly scaled back in terms of there's not quite as many random encounters, but
it depends what you want from it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that's true.
If you want to go on with your mates, you can do. You can do that side of it. If you want to be serious and grind, you can. But there's so, like you say, the money situation, because it's such a slow start, it takes forever to get any gold bars, and like they do discounts every now and again. Like the bounty hunter at the minute, there's only 10 gold bars, but it still takes forever. Like I've since downloading it, I've played about 6 or 7 hours, and I've got about 1.5 gold bars. And granted, I haven't done mission after mission, but I've still done enough. And they give you a lot of like dollars to buy the provisions, but even then, like, you want to buy new outfits or you want to buy new weapons, and that you have to be careful, because if you go and do that,
and
you've
to
lost all
posse
your
up
money
as
for
well.
your provisions.
Like to create a posse, it cost me like $200.
$200,
which is significant. And then to maintain your camp, it costs $2 a day in-game currency, but in real life, real time.
Yeah,
and it just feels like to me, it feels like they're so close. They're so close.
They are,
but
I think Gary's spot on. It does feel like a free-to-play game at times, because a
very high production one.
Oh yeah, but the only real way you can like get further and further, realistically quicker, is to spend real money, because the grind, I don't know, like 20, 30 hours before you feel like you're really getting anywhere. And granted, if you got that time to play it, fair enough.
Yeah, fair play.
Because it doesn't hold you back. You can do whatever you want. But there is that kind of restriction, which is a shame.
I feel like we had the most fun when we kind of ignored that shit and we just decided, let's go do some hunting, and we were like, we're on a trail of animals and
Well, on that train.
Yeah, then we hijacked a train that we realised was empty.
Yeah, yeah, fucking nothing on it. But no, so Red Dead, I've gone back to that. As I said earlier, I've re-downloaded Sea of Thieves. I've literally played one mission. And I never really played it before, so I'm starting from the beginning. But I can't wait to kind of party up in that.
Yeah.
Because I just did one simple mission, and I just enjoyed the feel of like going off on your boat and plundering and whatnot. But I'd prefer it more if there's other people. Because you said it the other day, Adam. Like it's the perfect game to kind of like chat with other people.
It's a podcast game.
It is, yeah. So yeah, there's that. But there's one game which I have played this week, which it's been out for a little while.
Yeah.
And I have never finished it, and I have mentioned this before on the pod. I've never finished it. Played one of its sequels all the way through, but never the original, and that is BioShock. I have started and finished BioShock this week. I have to say, lads, you want to play it?
Give it a go.
Give it a go. It's pretty good. No, it's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Like it was never about disliking it. It was
no, you just never got around to us.
It was the timing, yeah. Like I must have started it about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And the furthest I ever got was in the names. But the woman, the botanist, who's developing that vector that will cure that poison stuff in the air, or get rid of the spores.
You got to remember, we played this like 10 years ago.
Yeah, true. But one of the 2 to 5 main missions. But I'd never got, so I never knew about the big twist.
You didn't know that.
This is what baffled me. He had not had it spoiled. Yeah. He had not had it spoiled.
Yeah,
that's just.
Yeah, no, I had no idea.
Isn't it just amazing?
Oh, it's amazing.
Like that whole reveal is just like
blew my head, blew my mind. Yeah, I mean, just everything about it, like the
tone,
the visuals, the environment, like that. Yes, it's got similar feelings to Fallout in terms of the music, but it's its own game. And like I love the neon of the city. I love the color. It's just kind of throws everything together, and just the kind of the splices, they're so messed up. It's so messed up. Like right at the start, when you hear that woman from a distance, and you see the silhouette of that kind of shadow of her under like that bridge, and she's talking. You think she's talking to a baby, and it's like I had the subtitles. Yeah. I had the subtitles on because one thing I did find is that it's very hard to listen to people. The dialogue's a bit kind of not muffled, but it's quite quiet. So I had the subtitles on for her, and then when she's talking to a child and start going on about a dad dead, and you get the impression that the baby's dead, and then you shoot her and find that it's a revolver. Thank God for that. But it's just so well written. Like it's just incredible.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything really like it.
I love Fort Frolic. I love Fort Frolic in that area with the guy in the suit who's just messed up, and like the way that your plasmids, like you can upgrade your plasmids, and depending on how you treat the little sisters has a big impact on things, and like it's just there's so many layers to it, and in terms of the gameplay.
Have you not played BioShock 2?
Never played BioShock 2. The only game I've ever played was Infinite, and I adored it. Like absolutely adored it. And that came at the right time.
Yeah, 2's great. Yeah.
So I've started
2 is the weakest of them all, though.
It is the weakest.
It's still good, but like it's more just.
But it's only weak because it doesn't have its identity the way that 1 and Infinite do. Infinite takes you away from there, whereas BioShock 2 is, it's BioShock 2.
Yeah, I think the first BioShock is the best of them all, personally. I know some people might say Infinite, maybe. If someone says 2, then I'd just be like, Jesus. But like, I don't know, like, there's just nothing like 1.
Apparently, Minerva's Den, the DLC for 2, is supposed to be incredible, and I have never played it. It's about the only bit of BioShock I've never played, and it's apparently Minerva's Den is exceptional, and I just never got around to it.
Is that in the collections, you know?
Yeah, it is,
Right.
Yeah. Are you going to go through Infinite again?
I'll probably. So I'm on 2 now.
Yeah.
So I'll go through 2, and then I probably will replay Infinite because like I remember how much I did love that. And again, what did me that is the way that's set out, and the setting to that game was just incredible. Like,
do you know what I'd like to do is play them through all again, but wearing headphones. Because I've never really been a headphone gamer, and it's only recently where I've been like, you know what, I need to escape the world a bit and just wear these headphones, and like everything else just fuck off. I'm going to play like with headphones on, and I've always been. I mean, like I mentioned, the writing, but audio in games is big for me. And headphones have got good now. Yeah. Like, I've never really understood the fact that people like sneer upon like Apple AirPods or something, because they are not bad quality headphones. They're not like say these, but tech's moved on. But so BioShock.
BioShock. So I have been playing a game for review, which I just trying to work out if I can talk about it. Yes, I can. It's an old game, really old game, but it's Oddworld Munch's Odyssey.
Oddworld,
Munch's Odyssey.
Okay.
So
Munch's Odyssey, was that the 3D one, or was that
it was
second?
it was the third Odyssey game. Yeah, so you got Abe's Odyssey, Abe's Exodus.
That's the one I could never get on with for some reason.
Yeah. So
which one? Exodus, the Western one.
Well, no, the Munch's Odyssey. For some reason, I just couldn't.
I don't think I played Munch's. I think that's the one
I only played a bit of it.
So I tried to remember because I remember playing the first two because they were like PlayStation staples in my house.
This was Xbox, wasn't it?
This was Xbox. This one was Xbox, and I don't know why they've released it.
Is it just the same?
It's just a bit. I don't. There's clearly like improvements to some of the visuals, but the cutscenes are like the Vaseline smear over the screen, like the lens.
Yeah.
The controls are woeful at them. Like I'm really struggling with. So when you jumping over over something or you're jumping up a level, you can't be stood flat against it because you just bounce off it. You have to have like a gap between you and the level to get up. You like jump like that. See, for everyone watching on YouTube, you jump like that. You can't just go like that. So that's so frustrating. And the enemies are a pain in the arse. Like if you've not got, because the point of it is that you've got like you free these little creatures that follow you around, and you can get them to attack people. You can get them to solve little puzzles for you. So there are some decent puzzles in it. But the enemies, the only weapon you've got, like to start with at least, is this like thing that you zap them with. And when you zap them, they fall over for like a second and then get back up. So if you're overwhelmed, you just get absolutely trounced and then you die and then you have to go back to the start of the level and it just takes it out of you. And because the control system...
Have they released it though?
I don't know.
There's a new one being made, isn't there? Like a new Ape game.
Yeah, there was one. Yeah. I mean, it's not terrible. Like, it's all right, but I'm just massively disappointed. But then I don't know what I expect.
Yeah.
Playing a game 19 years later, like I can't. They can't remake the whole game. It's not a remake, is it? Like it's sort of like a port with.
It's basically what they did with Voodoo Vince.
Yeah.
Another one where it was kind of like, why have you done this again?
Well, that was because Phil Spencer. No, was it Phil Spencer?
Yeah.
He loves it. So
yeah. I'm like, but why? Cause
it seems a bit.
Parappa was the same.
Oh God, yeah. Like they didn't even improve the input on that. But yeah, so yeah, Oddworld. It's an odd choice for a game to release.
Fair enough.
But no, that's about it. That's about it for me.
Fair play. I've we both have re-downloaded Mortal Kombat 11 on Xbox.
Oh yeah, I've been playing that as well.
not a huge amount to report. I've said this to you, Chris, but there's a weird thing with Mortal Kombat games is that, like, I will say, God damn, this is a good fighting game.
Oh yeah.
Like, my word, what a good fighting game. But
yeah,
there's this weird thing. It was like when I did this when Xbox Game Pass got Mortal Kombat 10 or X, and I was playing it. Like, this is dated a lot. And some of the cutscenes in 11 already seem weirdly dated, but the actual action is like, well, no, this is great. Been playing that. Also, have played about 4 hours of Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Now, tried Xenoblade Chronicles 2, hated it. Tried Torna, the DLC or the expansion that came separately, hated it. Now, this is different. Now, this is for a start. What I've played of it so far is a really good. It's Mikhail and I, who is reviewing it and previewing it, have had a discussion about this. It's blurring the lines massively between what is a remake or a remaster, because this kind of doesn't fit into either category, but also fits into both.
Okay.
They haven't changed the core, but they've done more than just remaster it. It seems, unfortunately, kind of Persona 5-like in that I reckon this is probably 100 hours.
Oh, it's long, yeah. It is.
And I'm never finding that time even on Switch.
Yeah.
You played it on 3DS or Wii?
Both.
Okay. So, the voice acting,
Yeah, it's a bit bum at times.
It is.
Let's be honest.
It is because the accents are, you know, when you see a very American TV show, and they have an English person on, and they're like, "Oh, cup of tea for you, my lord."
Yeah.
It's that. It's that kind of thing where it's, and this is the weird thing is, I believe this was actually done by a British studio. Isn't Monolith British?
Keep talking.
Yep.
think so.
But the accents are weird. They don't fit the characters. Some of them, like the main character, I think, is Monolith the British, aren't they? Yeah, which just makes it extra weird. But then I've had that problem with the game before, where it's like, but you're from here. These accents.
No, sorry. Hang on.
Maybe the port was that. I don't know. But the thing
Keep
is,
talking.
the thing is, the accents did exist, but they don't exist in this form these days. Like they've been watered down. And I'm not going to harp on about the accents because I guess it is what it is. It's a really weird combat system in the Xenoblade games, Adam. Really weird. In that it shouldn't work. And I'll be honest with you, after playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, I really want to switch characters mid-fight. I really do. Because similar to that game, it is kind of an active game. And if you just let go of the controller and hold it like that, just doing nothing, your character will attack if you're near them. Okay, but then you have a bar of skills, which is like your Final Fantasy VII, skills. But all the other characters in the game have different skills, and you can upgrade them and level them up, and there's menus upon menus upon menus of things you can do. Lots of systems, which I will say it never throws too much at you at once. It's actually quite nice like that. It's very friendly. But I don't half want to just hit left on the D-pad to switch to like Ryan and use his skills. That's a peculiar thing, but I guess it's an old game and they're not going to change that much. Another little thing, and Mikhail's pointed this out in his preview, is that when you win a battle, rather than just letting you pick up items, there's a treasure chest for every enemy, and that should have been whipped out. That's really odd. It's time wasting, and it looks super weird. But you love this game, right?
Yeah, I think like. I finished it on the 3DS. I didn't finish it on the Wii because it was just the time, and it was just easier to play portable, obviously. So I played a really big chunk of it on the Wii. It was actually really hard to get that game because I got it later on and it became quite rare to get. But like, I think it's a really great like JRPG. There's some people who absolutely love it. It just has its issues, definitely. Like as you said, like I don't really rate the voice acting. I think the combat is fantastic, but
it takes some getting used to because it's
not
weird.
for everyone. You can't go to somebody play this one. This will get you started.
This combat system was in 2, right?
Yes.
But the thing is with 2 is I found instantly the world, the characters, the voices unlikable, whereas this has enough to make you, well, I'm going to keep playing this. And then you see the combat a little bit deeper. I will say, I thought it was a Wii U game. The fact this is a Wii game, wow, they were ambitious making this game.
You had Xenoblade Chronicles X that was for the Wii U.
Yeah, but this game...
So that was what came straight after.
Okay, but
this
it's ambitious. Either way, this was an ambitious game.
Oh, it's massively so. And I really do think the game is too long, and they didn't learn from that.
Aren't they all?
In the following titles, they didn't not learn.
No.
Like X was I was super excited for because they brought in like mechs and stuff that you could fly around in.
Right.
But you didn't get that mech until like I don't know how many hours in, and then also X had like easily my most hated soundtrack ever in a video game.
The soundtrack in this is superb. Superb.
Yeah.
Really good.
And I'm amazed you didn't like 2. I think
really didn't like 2.
Yeah, that's.
I remember capturing for something we did on the channel, and it was like it's not often I have to capture something, and I'm like, I am fucking resenting every second that I am wasting capturing this, and that's how I felt for that game.
There's the only real like when you're not in the mood for it, it is standard. It's not like Xenoblade is the only game doing it, but like because the world is so open and you're running through and like, if I can remember correctly now, whether they fix this or not, are the enemies kind of appearing in the distance, like they just
no,
kind of
they're not as. This is the thing, right? The other thing is, I think Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Another thing that put me off, and this was a Switch game. I thought it looked horrible. Like horrendously, like the visuals are awful. Whereas this game doesn't. Like it doesn't look like a next gen game or as good as Zelda, but it does look good. So I'm going to keep playing a bit of it. I don't know. I mean, it's a Switch game, so you can just chip away at it, can't you? Like for
it does, as I was saying, it just does that thing where like you run around the environment and all of a sudden an enemy will see you and you don't want to fight it and it just fucking wipes you.
No. So that is something you can easily run into like optional enemies that are way stronger than you, but no, this is I haven't encountered that. I encountered an enemy that I attacked thinking I'll have that, and then I realised I shouldn't have. But generally speaking, no.
What do you think of the Minato?
Amazing. That is again, and that's missing. That's missing from 2.
Yeah.
That is again.
The story is actually quite good in 1.
I wanted to know more about that sword, the Minato, right away. I'm like, I want to know what this is about. And that that's what will keep me playing. But what will keep you listening, listeners, is your correspondence answered by us. G-Town Steve on Discord wants to know. We'll start with you, Gary, on this one. If you could make everyone watch just one movie or TV series, what would it be? And he's excluded John Wick because we all know I should watch.
Well, you should,
one day.
Deadwood.
Okay, haven't seen it, so fair enough. Okay,
brilliant series. Although technically that falls under both. Because they did a film to finish the series as well.
The link to John Wick there as well. With old Ian McShane.
Yeah, very true,
Minder.
No.
Don't say that, no.
Lovejoy. He was Lovejoy.
Lovejoy. I'll never be able to see him as anything else. Big and by proxy, Big Bob Joylove from Harry Potter. Not Harry Potter, sorry, Harry Enfield. Yeah. I don't know where Harry Potter came from. Harry Enfield. I'm very tired, listeners, viewers. You can probably see. Okay, so Deadwood. Chris?
Oh, see. Oh, man. Well, it's either like something
like we asked you for your bank details or something.
Something that I know people have already watched, but it's still my favourite film and I'll recommend it to everyone. Or do I recommend something that no one will have seen?
There's a good chance I haven't seen it because I don't appear to have seen anything.
Wicked Jonathan.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to pick a horror film.
I probably haven't seen it, but go
on. It's in my top 3 films of all time, and that's 28 Days Later.
Okay, I have seen that one.
Just because I adore it. I think
good film.
I think it does. 28 Days Later.
Yeah, good film, that. Yeah. I enjoyed that.
I thought you said what film?
No.
I just repeated the film. 28 Days Later.
I just rolled with it. It's fine. No.
It was gonna be Forrest Gump.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that either.
Everyone would have seen Forrest Gump, I'd have thought. So. Let's go 28 Days Later.
Okay, Adam?
The Sopranos. By a country mile.
Best TV show ever.
That's the best TV show of all time.
I completely agree.
Yeah, you just sit there now because you won't watch it because you're being told about it.
I've agreed.
So one of those.
I agree.
Oh, man.
Absolutely brilliant.
Oh, Adam,
you know that bit where...
Montisante.
Him.
Comfortably numb kicks in.
That bit. Cracking.
Mate.
It is just like, do you know what, right? It's one of those things where I'm actually like, I'm making a point now. And because you could see my face, right? I'm coming in. If you have not seen The Sopranos, just watch The Sopranos. Don't go, yeah, heard about that, right? Yeah, heard that's good. Oh, yeah. Just do it. Just do it. Don't look at him.
Fuck off, you.
He's over there on my side.
But they can't see me. This is an audio thing.
Yeah, well, I can see you.
Sopranos is a great show of all time. Like the most amazing characters, start to finish. It's all good. It is all good, and it's crazy.
Sounds like a sponsored post to me.
I wish it was sponsored by Sopranos.
Is it still going? I mean, of course I know, but it's a brilliant show.
What would you say, Adam?
The Sopranos. I agree with you. Brilliant.
Where the fuck no?
Show.
The FA Cup.
I don't watch a lot of TV. I mean, I don't watch enough TV, and my tastes are my own.
BoJack.
I mean, BoJack is a good choice. I feel like everyone's watched BoJack. I mean, but not because of Gary hasn't, but BoJack. I think BoJack has some of the best writing in any animated series ever written. Like, it is unbelievably sharp. Probably Bob's Burgers. I'm a big fan of, and also just because Chris is lying on a burger cushion, that's made me think of Bob's Burgers. It's got the same voice actor.
Just so people know, I am sitting up. I'm not lying down on a cushion.
But imagine if you were, and the camera was like
pan down before my pants.
Oh, how good that would be. I really like Bob's Burgers. I find it entertaining, and I don't feel like many people have heard of that, especially outside of the USA. Or just John Wick. John Wick's great, I'm sure. I mean, I really like the film Pan's Labyrinth. I really like that film.
I still remember when I went to see that. I was just like, I had no idea what it was.
I thought it was a kid's film. I'm so lucky we watched it without the kids.
Yeah, I thought it was like the way it sounded was almost like Labyrinth. Like it's sort of a fantasy thing. And I went in and it's like 10 minutes in or something, some dude gets bottled brutally. I'm like,
that's so vicious.
Am I watching? Turns out it's a really good film, but at the same time, you're just like, this isn't a kid's film. Okay, cool.
You know what? And I'll also say, just so I can be a bit obscure, everyone should watch Die Hard. A really good film, Die Hard. Steve wants to know as well. I don't know if I have an answer for this, but he says, and we'll start with you, Gary, again. What is your most boring or mediocre skill? I can competently drive a forklift, he says.
Good on you. Good on you, G-Town.
It's a skill. That is a skill.
Yeah, it is.
It is it's a acquired skill. My father-in-law is a forklift truck driver trainer. There you go.
Thank you.
Facts.
Yeah, I mean, Adam's excited. I can see it in his...
I'm trying to think.
I know, so am I. Like,
this is a really tough question.
I can do it. I can answer for all of us. Podcasting.
With an edit, with a sprinkle of wink.
Yeah, it doesn't really work with the light in my face and the glasses and the sort of red cheeks from sleepiness. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of mediocre at fucking everything, so it's a bit difficult to come up with one thing that stands out from the rest of the average mediocrity.
I can do a full day's work on a half-hour sleep.
Is that a skill? Is it mediocre?
Well, I did it twice. I did it twice, and I actually came out going, "How did I do that?" So I'm just adding that to my.
Is that CV. Recently as well?
No, because that'd be a different story. However, I now at my age, I can do about 3 hours. Right. I can run pretty much on 3 hours sleep. That's my skill.
Fair enough. Yeah, I was going to say for some reason.
I thought he was going to say like one and also I can run really far.
I can run so far, so fast.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very average at sex. Like,
oh Jesus Christ!
As you well know, Adam.
This took a turn.
I don't know. No, I don't know.
Prove it.
I will.
Right now.
Right now. Okay.
We're on camera.
I don't know. I genuinely consider myself pretty average at everything, so it's difficult. I don't know. If anyone's got one, speak up, or we'll move on to Thomas's brilliant question.
I got nothing.
No, you got nothing. Adam, this one's for you. What retro practice or custom would you resurrect to confuse the youth of today? He said I would recite my phone number as I answer a call. Retro practice or custom?
What are we saying here? Like, what's the list to go off of? Right? Recite your phone number.
So, like when you answer the phone and you go, hello, 444.
Yeah. Oh, right. Did people do that?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they used to.
Jeez. I used to.
I mean, I could go with one.
Who came up with just saying hello then? Because they're a genius.
Yeah, talk face to face with people. Yeah. There's one.
That certainly feels retro at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the sort of thing that people tend not to do anymore.
No.
You know,
I mean, I think the youth of today would be quite confused by like a good cry wank. You know. I don't.
Oh dear.
I think they'd be quite confused by that. Especially if you started doing it in front of them. You're right, Chris. You got to sleep.
No, I'm fine.
I don't. Do you know what? No, I'll be serious for a minute. Block.
What? Block of what?
The game of block.
What's the game of block?
Oh.
Come on,
you probably got regionalised
I have tip the can.
versions of
I have
this.
Tig. I've hide and seek.
Okay,
I got a list of games.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the one. It's basically hide and seek, but you have to run to the block at the end of it.
For
You go up to a lamppost and you 1, 2, 3, 2
does
million.
Does it have to be a lamppost?
Yeah.
Does it have? It has to be.
Yeah.
Why can't I just do this? Why do I have to go up against a lamppost?
I don't know. I don't make the rules. Everyone fucks off, and then you have to find them. But once you find them, if you can race back to the lamppost or the block,
did you find these people, or did they just actually just fuck off home?
I mean, I'm still looking, mate, if I'm honest with you. They said they were my friends. And I mean, the thing is, a lot of retro things were awful. Like throwing stones at fat people. That was awful. And like, I'd be especially against that now, so I'm not bringing that back. Ghosting a bike. Do they do that now?
Ghosting a bike?
Ghosty, you're riding along and then you just jump off the back and fly out in front of you. You get your mate's bike and you go, cheers, mate.
No.
Into a car.
Why would I do that?
I can't think what the reason would be because I'm a lot older now, but at the time it seemed fucking brilliant.
Like, the question is kind of after
sidetracking.
I feel like we're just being nuisances now. That's all we're saying here. Like,
that's what I was when I was a retro child. There's a woman. I'm not proud of it. No, you know what? I'm not. No, forget it. Carry on.
No.
I slapped a potato off the front of a car once when I was driving past, and it was
Wait.
Yeah.
You did what?
So basically, there's down this direction there is a farm yard, and me and one of my friends, well, not anymore. We used to back in the day when you walked into the village and past the farm, there used to be a mountain of potatoes, like just fucking so many potatoes, right? And we went in. I was young enough, like, and we jumped behind the wall, and we were just hiding behind the wall like this. And we just had a potato each, and then like a car went by, and I just fucking threw it, and it went boof, slapped off the car. I could hear, and next the car just braked, and I was like, oh no, and I stayed there like this, and my friend bolted to the right and jumped into a massive bush of nettles and hid in there, and he was like trying to not scream, but he was absolutely in so much pain.
You've given me. Go on, carry on. Sorry, you reminded me of 2 retro things. Go on.
Basically then the car came back, and it was my neighbour, and he looked over the wall and just saw me looking up at him, and went up to my folks and told them what I did, and then my folks made me go back up and knock on his door and apologise, and it was just awful, and I felt really bad. Potatoes are evil.
Fork off for more. First of all, Kiss Chase, right? Kiss Chase is retro and is the reason I have a toe that goes this way, because I refused, even when forced, to kiss the girl, and she threw a brick at my foot, and now it goes. Secondly, I feel like at nearly 40, I feel like maybe it's my responsibility to buy pornography and hide it in bushes randomly in the town. Because
you are coming out with worldies, my man.
Does that not happen in Ireland? Because it definitely happens in the UK. You will find a porn mag in a bush or a tree somewhere as a youth. And that doesn't happen now because it's all internet-based pornography.
Yeah,
I mean, I particularly enjoyed a video I saw recently on Pornhub that it was just called "Man Fucks Entire Country at Once," and it was just Boris Johnson's recent, which is pretty good. But no, like I think about that often. Who was the guy who got those porn mags and shoved it into this tree or bush for some child to find?
Oh Jesus, who knows?
Don't know.
Best not to think about that.
I'm bringing it back.
Stuck together though.
They weren't. I'm bringing it back, Chris. I'll bring it back. Anyone else got any retro practices?
Here's one for you.
You start. No, go on.
No, mine is very straightforward. It's straight to the point. It is literally just we actually talk to each other in public without mobile phones. That's an old retro practice that used to be a thing, and that should be put forward right now.
No, definitely. I don't have one. I just want to hear the story that started. There was a woman.
Nah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, all right.
How about hanging? Let's bring back hanging. Once every 10 years. This is not me. I'm just reading the question. Whenever I turn on camera that away, I'm reading off the screen. Once every 10 years, I experience a fleeting urge to be practical and perhaps carry out some light do-it-yourself work, or DIY for short. Never a good idea, really, but when is the last time it happened to you, and is your house still standing?
Don't have a house.
What? But you're in one right now.
It's not mine.
Okay, I wasn't aware that this was.
No.
No, fair.
Squatting podcast.
I'm quite lucky. I'm quite lucky in that my wife is good at it and usually enjoys it. So I kind of get off lightly. I do shelves. I'm the shelf man.
Haven't done much DIY. Don't think I'll be good at it.
I mean,
I don't think you would either.
Oh, sorry. I did help someone else put some stuff together at their house.
I plumbed a toilet in.
Nah, don't like it.
I plumbed a toilet in. That went fine. There's 2 DIY rules that I won't break, and I broke that. Don't mess with water or electricity. One of them kills you, the other will fuck your house up. But I needed to plumb that toilet in, and so I did. Handy Adam.
The last thing I did was construct a a bunk bed for the girls with like one of them tiny little S-shaped Allen keys, and that was it. It took me about 8 hours. And ever since, I've just like let Lauren do it. She's much better than me.
This is the thing. She's better.
She is. I just rid the house of spiders and moths, and then that's my.
I mean, everything you can see behind you is like built by me, but it's all IKEA. Like that's an IKEA shelf over there.
Yeah.
It's an IKEA TV unit. The chair I built together.
I've built IKEA furniture. You can't say that. That's just fucking
right.
this and punk.
All right, well, underneath here, there's a hand chiseled woodworking table, but you can't see it, and the camera doesn't reach, so you'll never see it. Is a good one for you, Adam. I'm going to go to you first for this. Okay. What is your favourite gaming thing, merch, game, or whatever in your collection? I've recently done some tidying, says Thomas, and he says it makes him happy. What's your favourite singular bit of merch? I think we've had a similar question before, but go for it.
I think I would just say straight off, and I only thought of this actually 2 days ago, but my Master Sword statue that I got in Breath of the Wild, the collector's edition, I really love that I have that. I just really like it. It's really tidy. It sits there. It's great. I love it.
Okay. Gaz?
Either my Normandy statue, the SR2. I mean, it's only like this big, but
the statue.
Yeah.
For those just listening, Gary was saying it's roughly the size of a male penis. A male penis. I don't know why I said male. I'm really tired. That didn't need qualifying.
It's either that or I don't know, maybe my Jill Valentine Funko Pop.
Oh, mate, a pop. How could you?
I've got fucking loads of them.
I know you have. Okay, Chris?
I don't have any merch. I don't buy any gaming merch, really. I think the closest I've got...
Do you not still have that body pack you were given?
Oh, fuck.
I do. When I moved house, that was one of the things that came with me. I couldn't get rid of it.
And it had a body in it.
Yeah. I suppose I've got some little South Park figures that I got from the press event for...
Stick of Truth, wasn't it?
No.
Fractured Butthole?
Fractured Butthole, yeah. And then my Bible of the Animal Crossing official guide that I've been reading non-stop for the last few weeks is a beaut. But no, I don't really buy anything like that.
So if you're watching this, you can making that sound like it was more effort than it was. Oh God, this is terrible audio, so I can't do it. Just here-ish. It's going to be really small, but there's a God of War statue from the collector's edition that I really like, and next to it is a little duck that I've shown before on Twitter that I was sent by the Cosplaying Ducks people. There's a Super Meat Boy box that was released when it was only on PC and Xbox 360. It was released as like a box set, and again, you can see that just behind me to my left, right? I don't know, whatever way you're watching this. And also, I have a signed copy of Horizon Zero Dawn, which I adore.
Ooh, that is nice.
Very, and that is again just in shot if you just about see it. But yeah, I don't know if I can really move the camera, but there are other things like the Zelda Link's Awakening special edition. I adore that I was sent.
Yeah, I've still got my is it Alduin, the Skyrim statue. I've still got that massive collector's edition.
That's good.
Very good.
Yeah, I mean, I do like trinkets. I do like gaming-y trinkets. I didn't for a long time, and I've got back into them again now.
Hang on. I thought some of it. I thought some of it. I forgot I had it.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Oh, no.
Look at that.
Mind that
movement.
burger.
Jesus.
In the meantime, what I would also say is another one. Oh, the camera seems to be moving. I have an Animal Crossing. What the hell is that? I have an Animal Crossing pillow that I bought recently that I absolutely love.
It was so forceful that I pulled the headphones out of the socket.
Wow.
It was worth it. It was worth it, right?
Well, I hope so. Chris is showing us
A fucking chopstick?
some sort of samurai sword.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Is
What's
it
it from,
Sekiro?
Oh, it could be from Sekiro.
Oh, he's whipping out something else now.
Now he seems to be
No, that's
unzipping his flies and picking up some sort of salami-coloured thing.
It's a letter opener.
Yeah, but what game?
Sekiro.
It is Sekiro.
It's a Sekiro sword that I got from the press event.
That's cool. That's not
It
bad.
is.
But at the same time, I'd love to know who the meetings. You know, where they're like, well, we've got to come up with some merch. But a sword, so...
I mean, everyone uses a letter opener these days. So
for all the letters.
Why not make... I use it more as a back scratcher, but...
Yeah, I hate letters. I hate
Floats your
letters.
boat.
He's got like lashes all down his back. We've been cut. But, you know. Another question then. If disaster struck... This is an easy one for me, but if disaster struck and somehow your save file in Animal Crossing got wiped, what, if anything, would you do differently on your second run? I can just jump in straight here and say there wouldn't be a second run.
No, I wouldn't play it again.
Same.
If I lost a combined myself, my wife, my son's probably 300 hours in that game, no.
To be fair, I mean, I'm sort of falling off it a bit now. Anyway, I've
starting
played it enough. I mean, I'm still gonna. I imagine still keep going back and playing it for like half an hour here and there. But yeah. So I think I'm kind of at a point where it'd be a natural if that happened. Like, okay, cool, I'm not gonna play that anymore. Mm-hmm. Done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
never replay it.
No, there'd be too much to do. It would too.
I feel sad for people.
Yeah.
That'd be awful.
Terrible. So the last question this week, then, we're not going to spend hours on this. We appreciate this is a long podcast, but hey, you love it. You love it, you filthy listeners. How do you rate Microsoft and Sony's approaches to next gen so far? I think Thomas says that Sony really needs to start talking, and soon. I would agree with that, but I don't think they're going to talk until June. I think this is a reaction to Microsoft's recent, what is it called? Xbox? Inside Xbox 2020. Where, and I will preface this by saying they have apologised. It's really weird because their marketing has not been aimed at me, but it has been good. Like, they have been honest, they have been upfront, they have said this is the information, and then all of a sudden they do this 20-minute video that, like, I don't really understand why they went with this unless they know Sony are about to do something. Because for me, and this is for someone, I'm talking technically as someone who edits video, has been like produced videos for massive companies, as well as like doing our video stuff along with Mick. You can't show in the same way that demoing VR remotely is very hard sell. You kind of have to, like, I talked about Half-Life Alyx and Mick has now played it and he was like, fuck, this is amazing, because you have to do it. You can't really say, the thing is, games right now look really good. Games look really good. So saying we're going to show you next gen when you're like, but games look really good, and then seeing next gen, and I'm doing the hand, inverted commas, is a really hard thing to do when you're watching a stream where even if you are broadcasting at 4K with HDR because you have that equipment because you're Microsoft, you can't see it via YouTube properly.
I think they've made No, I was going to say, I think overall they've made a balls of it. I think both sides. I think we're in. I can't really say there's a single person I know that's like, I can't wait for these consoles to drop. I don't think anyone really cares, because what we're seeing is it's not blowing us away. I think we're just at a stage where people just want great games, and we know the games that are coming, and that's what we're more excited about. The technology side of it, there is, just before recording, there was apparently, I don't know what exactly it is quoted as, but something was put out that PS5 could be coming out in October. And you're kind of going,
yeah, great.
And I saw it and I went, okay. I thought that whole Xbox thing that we all watched, whatever, the gameplay thing that caused uproar, uproar. It was bullshit. It was bullshit, and that's really all there is to it. Why would you say then after that, it's we're sorry about that, whatever. You say gameplay, lads. And don't. They also said as well, the Xbox, whoever it was that did the Xbox or Microsoft's statement, said we're learning from it or something. It's like, you're in this game long enough to know that gamers, when they see the word gameplay, they're in to see
That's
gameplay.
it. You basically don't say we're going to show gameplay if you're not, because what they showed was in-engine stuff.
That's the qualifier there.
That's it. It's like if you're going to say we're going to show you the graphics of the new console, sort of thing, or wording it better than that. Then,
but did you see anything there, Gaz, that you think, they couldn't do that now on my Xbox One X?
Not really, because I think the next gen is going to be more, I suspect, frame rate and maybe more processing power, so we can do better stuff with AI.
It will be a lot of loading stuff, and it will be a lot of RAM usage, like to be able to store a game state in the RAM and then come back to it. Like
Do you know what I was thinking? Just very quickly, actually.
Third-party stuff though first. But go on, Ed. Sorry.
I was just going to say there, like, do you know what it's going to? Do you know, like, the more I think about the future of these systems, all I think of in my head is that, like, can you imagine the clusterfuck of comments that people are going to be like, have you seen this pen in the game? Looks awful. Awful. Like, people are going to get
one out of place texture.
One out of place texture. The criticism that's going to come from, because we're already there. No, people are like that anyway, to a certain degree. But like, that's all it's going to do. But like visually, even the what we saw in that little presentation, as you said, it could be on this current gen that we have. Like, so it's like
a lot of it was. That was the thing. Like a lot of it.
Brightfall's Memory is out. It is episode 1 of that game is on PC. It's a game made by one person, and it's very impressive. Like, but also there was some weird shit around that game about assets that you borrowed from somewhere, or But this looks like to be the whole game. I don't want to be down on it because it's good to see new games, but there seem to be a lot of horror games, and like that Scorn, like.
I thought that was a new Alien game.
I did. I think that's the thing that bothers me about that game. It's like nobody seems to be talking about the fact that looks to rip assets direct from like Prometheus, especially.
Yeah. Because I thought that was a space jockey. When it panned into it, I was like, "Oh my god!"
Well, they kept showing that wall where it was like the thing kept coming out of it, like it was an alien's mouth, and I'm like, "That if that's not Alien, then someone might get a phone call." Because it really, again, I don't want to seem Mr. Negative because I will almost certainly be covering these consoles. I will almost certainly be using these consoles. I think the biggest mistake they made was obviously, like everyone has said, saying this was gameplay when it wasn't. It was an engine. Yeah. There was not a UI. There was not a camera being panned by a human as they walked away from the screen. But I think again, unless they know Sony is doing something real soon. Maybe by the time even this podcast is live, I find it particularly strange to lead with third party when most of these games will come to other consoles or PC, whereas I get the feeling when Sony do something like this, it will be like, and here is Uncharted 5 or Horizon Zero Dawn 2 or...
That's where we're at now.
And that's more interesting to me.
I think enough of these rumours, enough of this is what's probably going to be this. Just show us the goddamn console. Give us the release dates. Give us the price. Show us some gameplay on it. That's it. That's all we want.
Question for you then, because I don't think Sony are going to do anything, because right now, unless they do it in the next week or so, they have The Last of Us 2 to promote, which is their biggest game by far, and then right after that they have Ghost of Tsushima. So if the theory stands that this console is out in November. Do you really need to know what it looks like? I think the controller gives you a pretty heavy indication of what it looks like.
So price and stuff like that is stuff that you
but you can do all of that. You can do price, release date, launch lineup, aesthetics of the console in one 20-minute state of play.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Do they need to spend money? Let's be honest. This is not me shitting on Microsoft at all, but I am quite surprised by the fact that these are very clearly shot in people's homes and that they could not get good microphones, in some cases good cameras that aren't like clearly lagging, when there's a jarring juxtaposition of that foggy camera with no lighting. Like I've got lighting behind the camera there to you give a clear image, and then you cut to like this 4K trailer that shows up. Oh my god, this looks so good. I want to fuck it. You know, like it looks that good, and then you're back to like 720p webcam and someone talking into like one of these instead of like one of these, and I find that like Sony tried to fake it when they did that GDC talk, like they had the whole thing there, and it looked stupid, but it did look professional. The quality of Mark Cerny's voice on the microphone sounded good. I don't think Sony want to put stuff out where it's like their guys sat at home. I don't know. I just don't. Sony could give all that information in 20 minutes.
Yeah, just for me, I'm just sick shit now of tuning into these things and not getting what they say. They're not being clear. Be clear, and then have your people tune in if you want. Like I don't know, that Microsoft thing was a fucking joke. Like they just straight up lied.
Apart from Yakuza Like a Dragon, I know.
Okay, yes, okay, but like, come on, this was supposed to be gameplay. It wasn't. End of. There's no beating around the bush here.
But also, like, we'll live.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Course,
we'll live.
Yeah,
but it was a bit of a shame because I really wanted to see Valhalla. To be honest with you.
I think that was the main thing, because
and they've apologised too as well, Ubisoft.
Yeah, I don't think they'd be like this big an uproar if it wasn't for like every like few minutes during that thing there was a thing came up on screen like stay tuned for Valhalla gameplay, and it's like you got it. It's like that's not gameplay though, is it?
I mean, it's interesting because the fact that they couldn't lead with Halo, and that's apparently coming in July. How far along is that game? Because it's been in development for years.
I just wonder if
should be kind of done.
They were just kind of planning on doing this big E3 style thing.
This does feel like a batch of trailers. Cut from the middle of an E3 presentation.
I think that's what it's. I'm guessing they're going to try and concentrate a little bit more on the first party stuff and the Xbox itself, and then go here's some other stuff first.
Until this point, what they have shown is select outlets. Like Digital Foundry, they have shown Gears 5 running on a Series X. Now, I love Gears 5. Adam loves Gears 5, so he's just told you. But with the greatest respect, playing Gears 5 running better looking, but faster frame rate when it already runs at 60 on an X, not interested. I can play that game on my PC. I mean,
Sony did that as well, though, didn't they? When they were like, this is what the PS5 can do. Here's it running Spider-Man.
But that was more a case of here's what it can do in terms of loading, not look at next-gen graphics. I don't know. Maybe I'm nitpicking.
We'll see.
I'm still excited because I want to see. I'm always excited to see more new games and see what they do with the new tech. But I'm on the fence. I doubt I'll be buying it at launch.
I am mega excited to see what Sony do because apart from anything, we don't know what they're developing. We all kind of figure they're making Horizon a new game.
Or Horizon 2 is going to be probably a launch game. Well, not a launch game, but
launch window, perhaps.
Yeah.
But more than that, I'm kind of excited because I think that they might have to react to Game Pass now. PlayStation Now is not it.
No.
Yeah.
Game Pass is crazy to me still, as someone who works in the industry like you guys. It is crazy to me because Microsoft, it cannot be making them any money, and then when they add third-party games in with these deals, how can they be making money off of sales of Gears of War 5, of Quantum Break, of Forza, of Ori, when people can just play them?
Yeah.
Like, it cannot be coincidence that every first-party Xbox game we review, the video does nothing, and yet PlayStation, Nintendo, third-party, the reviews are through the roof, but Xbox, and it is every game. Gears Tactics was the same. Yeah. Every time we cover a game, and I see the traffic behind the scenes as well, people aren't reading reviews of those games because why would they? They can play it. They don't have to pay. They've already got the subscription. And I feel like at some point they are going to absolutely have to roll all of their services into one big, this is Xbox, which will be where they probably hike the price up. Because I think they have to. But they can't go back on it. They can't go, well, hang on, Gears 6 will be on Game Pass the week after. Yeah. They can't do that now. Precedent has been set.
I do wonder how many people will then go and buy the game, though. Like they've played it like during the first month, or whatever. They've got like the month for £1 or something. I wonder how many of them then gone, rather than getting Game Pass again for however long, they just go, I really like this game.
I really don't think there's many, because everyone took advantage of that Game Pass thing where you could get like 3 years of it You know.
As mental as it is, like, I don't know if this answers the question, but like after finishing Gears 5, I want a physical of Gears 5.
There you
But
go.
you are a specific case in that you like very much like the physical boxes of games still.
I suppose.
And I think you're in the minority now. I don't know for sure, but I think you're in the minority there. But we'll see. I am, for the negativity I've perhaps come across as, I am dead excited because it's new hardware.
Yes,
and I really, really want to see what they're all up to properly. I want to see someone, or I want to have a Xbox or PlayStation 5 here that I can press a button, go around the menus, load a game, come back out, boot it up, another game, and just see how it all works. I want to see that. I want to see why they want me to spend £500 or whatever they charge. And third-party games that will be out on multi-platform, will be on PC. Not quite. But that is a podcast for this week. You can find Christopher White on Twitter. You know, he looks like he's going to sleep there. But
I'm there somewhere.
he's there somewhere. He's not going to tell you where. You can find Gary and Adam on there.
At Hotcakes69.
The old hotcakes. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, everywhere, just via @GodIsAGeek. But you can also find us on patreon.com/GodIsAGeek. This podcast is available early in audio and video form. We have another podcast that is exclusive to Patreon. We give away codes on there, all sorts. We are even looking into some merchandise, which I have samples of arriving some point whenever they arrive. That's it for this week. Thank you for watching, listening, sharing, subscribing, liking, commenting. Just being there. Thank you very much. Adam, Gaz, Chris, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And we will see you, or you will hear us, but we will speak to you next week, or whenever you choose to listen. Bye for now.